Hello, I'm Jason from StrataGames. Today we're playing some more Pauper. It's been a couple of months since I've played a Mono Blue Terror, and so this is a deck that I enjoy playing quite a bit, so I figured I'd just pick it back up. This is Illuminati's list. Illuminati being one of the big players that I know that plays the deck all the time, and so I generally trust their lists. So we have 4 Terrors, 4 Serpents, 4 Delver of Secrets as our threats. Counterspells, we have 4 Counterspell, 2 Dispel, 2 Spell Pierce. More interaction, we have 2 Sleep of the Dead and 3 Deem Inferior. Personally, I generally like Boomerang better because it can hit lands and things like that. But Deem Inferior seems to be sticking around and the one that people seem to be enjoying a little bit more. Of course, we've got Brainstorm, Mental Note, and Thought Scour. We're also playing 3 Ponder, so we have some more cantrips, more early cards we can play. 4 Lorien Reveals, 16 Islands, and that's the main deck. And then in our sideboard, 4 Annul, 4 Blue Blast. They had also 4 Hydroblast. Hydroblasts are expensive. I already have 6 cards that hit red spells, so I might get burned by that, literally. But we just threw 2 more Dispels in, because those are a pretty good card too, and 3 Gut Shots, which I've been gotten a little bit by when playing against Terror. I didn't realize this was something that they started playing. I've seen it be used to pretty good effect. So let's jump into a league and see how we do. All right, we are on the play here. This hand does not look amazing. We really are banking on this Ponder. I don't think that's going to be good enough. If we whiff on the Ponder, we can shuffle, but then it's just, that's kind of it. This hand's okay. We do need to find a second land, but I think we're going to keep and get rid of one of the Brainstorms. And let's just ponder, try to find a land. Yeah, all of these look solid enough. I could Thought Scour both of those in our upkeep. That's going to ensure we have 4 spells in the grave, but I actually want that Lorien to make sure that we hit our land drops. So we'll probably just take it. They're on Faithless Looting, so Mono Red Madness is my guess. Could be Rakdos Madness. Or it could be Red Dredge, Lotless Giant, and Stinkweed Imp. Interesting. We're just playing an island and passing. So previously I had some Tormod's Crypts in our sideboard, and I just took those out to update it to the Illuminati list. So obviously that's going to be bad here, but ideally we'll just have enough counterspells that it won't be too big of a deal, but we'll see. Surveil away a Fiery Temper with a Conduit Pylons. They also dredged with their Stinkweed Imp. Let's Brainstorm. There's a Terror. So Deem Inferior we're not really going to need. And I don't think I'm going to want to mill them, but I guess just in case, I might as well do this. And then Thought Scour us. I mean, I can get a quick Terror down. That's not bad. Let's Brainstorm. Just put back 2 Islands. Or I could get down Delver. I could put back Island, Lorien. Then I can put down a Terror and a Delver, which is going to flip. So that's a 3-turn clock. Might not be fast enough, but if we can find a counterspell or something, I probably don't want to draw what's on top of our deck. Not even the Lorien, so I think we'll probably Thought Scour. They have another Faithless Looting, get back the Snacker. Discard a Giant and a Temper, so probably going to take out the Delver, although they're getting back the Snacker. Maybe they'll just go face. No, they do take out the Delver. Yeah, definitely Thought Scouring ourselves. Another Terror is good, and a Serpent's good. Well, we're not going to have a lot of interaction to stop them, but we do just have 16 power coming down, so that's gonna be pretty good. So if we can find like a Sleep of the Dead for this, we can maybe just win. They do mill with Stinkweed Imp, hit another Giant, Snacker. Only 6 creatures in graveyard though, so I'm not super concerned about them being able to kill us here. They play a Scrapwork Mutt, Dredge 5. They do get a Gatekeeper, so that could unearth sack. They could hit for like 10-ish. They're going to attack for 2 with the Snacker. Okay. Unearth the Gatekeeper and another. Sack the Snacker and the Gatekeepers, I assume. So they'll hit for 6. Down to 11, but they also just have a blocker that can trade. Okay. We get a counterspell. That's not bad, because if we attack with everything, they can block here and actually not have to lose the Giant. And they can attack back for 6. But if they have like another Dread Return, which we know they have. If they go for a Dread Return on a Giant, we should just be able to counterspell it. Yeah, I think we just swing with everything. They do trade off the Giant and chump the Terror. So I'm going to have to get in with both of them this next turn for it to be lethal. They do dredge another Snacker. Flashback Faithless gets them 3 Snackers, which they can Dread Return for a Giant, which might be lethal if they discard a couple creatures here. Or rather, mill them. I think we let this go though and just use the counterspell on the Dread Return, because if they just have like another Faithless Looting from hand, then they could just get there. Whereas if they sack everything, they're going to need 3 more creatures and another Dread return. That seems more difficult. They just draw 2 normally and discard 2 Stinkweed Imps. Unearth the Mutt. Okay. Drawing normally because they have to actually draw 3 to get to the Snackers. That's why. That makes sense. Okay. They can attack for 2, and then we can counterspell the Dread return, and we should be good. Alright, we got game 1. Probably bringing in Blue Blast and Hydros, but they don't actually deal with Lotleth Giant, Snacker, or Stinkweed Imp, but they do deal with all of the draw spells that they have. So I think those dispels don't seem necessary because I don't really care to counter a Fiery Temper, and everything else is sorcery, really. Demon Inferior is not necessary. I do like the sleeps, though. And Spell Pierce can be good, so I think maybe just kind of ponder here. Alright, this one looks solid. Decent interaction. Ponder can set up our draws. They mulligan to 5. 4. They play an Epicure. We just get a counterspell. I think we just leave up the Blue Blast. Part of me wants to just ponder, but if they have like a Faithless Looting or maybe even like a Cathartic Reunion here, which I guess I couldn't use because they'd have to play a land for it, but in any case, I do have a second land, and they're just going to pass. That's fine. Now we'll ponder. I don't want 2 islands and a serpent, so we're going to get rid of that. Shuffle. Another Blue Blast is fine. We might use one of these on the Epicure now. We discard a Gatekeeper with the blood. There's a Faithless Looting. We'll counter that. Don't want them to fill up their graveyard or find any new cards. Well, they have another one. Can't do anything about that. They discard a Snacker and a Cathartic. We get a Spell Pierce. That's not bad. Alright, we'll just pass. Even if they find a Mountain to play and then flashback the Faithless, we have a Spell Pierce or a Blue Blast for it. We have enough counterspells, actually, that I think I will just shoot this guy now. Not just because I want to get it off the table, but also because the Serpent will be cheaper. Mental Note's a good draw. Mills 2 islands. So we're at 4. Alright, I'm not going to tap out right now. I don't think that's necessary. As long as we can just keep them off being able to do anything useful, we should be good. And they pass. Thought Scour's good again. We hit a Delver and an island. So let's brainstorm. Put back, sleep, and counterspell. An island. We'll just play a terror and hold up our counterspells. When we have a counterspell on top, I'm probably not going to use the mental note on it, because if we just have 3 counterspells, we should be good. They find their land, so they might go for a Faithless now, which will Spell Pierce. But they're just going to pass. I'll swing for 5. I guess they could also go for a Pyroblast here. We'll play a Cryptic Serpent and leave up some more counter magic. Lightning X discarding a Giant. We will counter that. Most things I'm scared about them playing, or at least worried about them playing, Spell Pierce can take care of. Faithless Looting, unless they have one from hand. And some other things, like a Cathartic. We'll Spell Pierce from the graveyard. Oh, I knew the Sleep of the Dead was there. I probably should have mental noted it in response, but that's okay. We'll cast it, and we get a Serpent. Well, in case they get 2 blockers, we'll just put that down. We have a counterspell for whatever else they got. Alright, and we get a nice clean win for match 1. Alright, we're on the play again here. Hand is unclear how good it is, but we have Brainstorm into Lorien to cycle. We're going to keep it. Obviously really flooded, but ideally I can shuffle away a couple of these islands and turn them into spells. Because Lorien's going to be our 3rd anyway, so that's the goal. Brainstorm and then upkeep Lorien. Haunted Mire makes me think Gardens. Let's Brainstorm. Alright, that's looking good. I could also just Mental Note, but I'd rather potentially Mental Note spells into the grave. Let's do that. Cycle this Lorien in the upkeep. Get an island, play the island, and pass. Spell Pierce isn't bad if they go for like an Ichor Wellspring or something. And immediately this hand is really, really good. Okay, they land grant us, so they're actually on Spy combo. Saga Wildling, I assume, is a miss thing. Oh, they're on Elves Spy, which we actually tried before. They are going to get Spell Pierced here, though. There's not a lot of stuff to Spell Pierce in this deck. And this is one I don't mind. Obviously, they got the Generous Enter, the Saga Wildling. They're still going to hit their land drop, but I don't mind it. I mean, they have Winding Way and Lead the Stampede, so actually I maybe could have just saved it for one of those, but what are you going to do? They play the Forest, and they cast the Elvish Mystic. So we got 3 spells in grave. Counter spells, not bad. I think we're just passing here. Cycle the Generous Ant. Yep, it's possible that I should have just kept the Spell Pierce knowing that they're going to probably Winding Way or lead the Stampede here. I'm going to counterspell one of those, but still. A Timberwatch Elf. That's interesting. Do I care about that? Not a ton, but a little bit. Let's brainstorm, see what we got here. Mental Note. So what are we putting back? We're probably going to Mental Note in our upkeep. Then we can get down a Serpent, which means we're not going to have Counterspell up. I think this is fine, actually, as long as we keep the Elves off the field. So let's put back Mental Note, Serpent, and just, we can find another Serpent, like right there. We'll let that go. That's already 6. So now I can, let's just brainstorm. Sleep of the Dead is not bad. Put those 2 back. And now I could ponder trying to hit a land drop if I want to get greedy, because I got to hold up this counterspell for one of these, but I kind of want to get down a terror. I think we're going to ponder, try to hit that land. Yes, and we do. So let's put that on top. I like the other spells too, so we can play a terror, we can hold up counterspell, and we have another counterspell on top that we know about. We're going to Winding Way. We're going to counter that. And they have an Elves, that's fine. Counterspell, so this can make something +3. If they want to trade both of their small Elves for this, I'm honestly fine with that, because then this guy's small, and if they want to trade this for this, it's fine too. I could Sleep with the Dead first, but I just don't think it's super necessary here. Now we're going to play a Serpent and hold up Counterspell again. Or they'll lead the Stampede. They cycle a Troll first. Or a Swamp. They could just Dread return back the Troll, which they're going to do. Or the Ent, actually, because that blocks. Yeah, but I can just Sleep of the Dead that. So that's fine. I guess we'll brainstorm in case we get our other Spell Pierce. Or we can just deem Inferior. Let's put back Lorien, Sleep. Mental Note, so Sleep's in the bin. We have an island though, so we can use it. Plus we got a Delver. Or we could just deem Inferior this for 3. I think we'll do that. Throw it back into the deck. They could put it on top so that they lead the Stampede, they'll find it. Like, that's not a bad idea, but obviously we'll have the counterspell for it. And they do put it on top. We're going to swing with both. They are going to go for the double block, then pump the Elf. We'll trade for the Timberwatch, and we'll pass with this counterspell up. I suppose if I use the counterspell and they'll lead the Stampede and then they find a spy, it's not great, but they've only gotten 4 lands. It feels like they're going to have at least one more. Plus, this is a way to find the spy, so I think we just go for it. They just have an Elves. They've got chump blockers, but that's not too bad. Oh, they're even cracking their food. Terror is a good draw, so we can attack for 6, slam down a Terror and a Delver. They also chump. And then we just have 3 mana left, so we might as well Sleep of the Dead one of these guys. So that doesn't make mana and doesn't untap for next time. We'll pass. And they concede. Alright. Got there. Once again, wishing that we had that Graveyard Hate, but maybe we'll be fine. Blue Blasts are no good. Dispel doesn't do a lot. They are Elves Spy combo, so actually Gut Shot feels decent, because they do have Priest of Titania and Llanowar Elves and stuff like that. They might play a couple Hydras, but not enough for a null to be relevant. They did have a couple more spells than I was thinking originally, so I might actually leave the Spell Pierces in, but I can't really think of any instance they're going to have. So I think Dispel is kind of useless. Deem Inferior seems fine, so maybe we'll just cut a Ponder again. That's kind of my flex slot. Alright, Gut Shot is good. Deem. Yeah, this hand looks pretty solid. Let's give it a try. They start on a tap land again. Delver's a good first draw. Let's just do that. I think I could brainstorm to set it up, but then if we whiff on lands, it's kind of bad, so I think we're just going to do it blind. And Lorien revealed. Oh, they don't have anything else? They didn't even mulligan, but they kept kind of a bad-looking hand because we got this Gut Shot. Yeah, let's just try to flip. Get a Cryptic Serpent. That's not going to work. Do I want that Serpent? We have enough things to get it out relatively quickly, so yes, we'll keep it. Cycle the Lorien. Play an island. I mean, we're just going to Gut Shot this since they don't have anything else going on. And I guess we're just brainstorming on the end step. I could keep the brainstorm for the Demon Inferior, though, depending on what they play here. Cycle a Troll. Alright, hitting that second land drop. But probably nothing to play for just a Swamp. So, yeah, let's brainstorm. Okay, I think we get rid of one of those islands in the Sleep. Okay, well, I blanked on setting that up correctly, so that's kind of annoying. but that's my own fault because I'm just bad. We are going to Thought Scour and play an island. So obviously this should be attacking for 3 here, and that's just my mistake. Hopefully it won't be too big of a deal. We have a pretty fast clock here, and now we can start leaving up counterspell. They shouldn't be able to get too much happening this turn. Wildling for a forest, maybe a Titania, yep, which we can deem inferior. Now we can brainstorm to actually set this up, because we want to deem inferior this turn anyway, I think. So we can put back Ponder, Mental Note, flip, so we'll have a 2-turn clock still, so it shouldn't actually throw off our clock. Play this, deem inferior the priest, and then we hold up counterspell and we just have a 2-turn clock. Look, I tried to throw, but unfortunately it's just not going to work this time. Well-Wisher can block. I don't think that's scary enough that I want to counter it, because it'll just die to this. If they play something else, then I'll counter that so that they have to chump with this. And then they concede, and we're able to get there. So even though I made that mistake, didn't affect the game. This hand looks solid. We're against Ivern OP, which I may be misremembering, but I think they're another blue Terror player, potentially. Let's just start with the Delver. Well, they passed right through Utopia Sprawl. No, okay, I was misremembering. They are a Bogles player, which could be very bad for us. We don't have the Brainstorm. We do now have the Brainstorm, very nice. Let's just ponder. We could play a Delver this turn, but then we have 2 islands, and that's pretty bad. Plus, we'd have to brainstorm to be able to set up the second Delver, but that could be a fast clock, actually. That might be what we need, to be honest. I think we're actually going to give it a try. Usually that looks like a bad hand, or a bad top 3 to me, but it does just let us get very aggressive here. They have a Ledgewalker and an Ethereal Armor. We got a Brainstorm, clear those islands, put back the Ponder, I suppose, to flip. And then Ponder, we can get up to 4, but that's, we can't even target their guy with this. It would be 4 with the Lorien. This looks bad. Use Ponder's ability, yes. Shuffle. Dispel's probably not going to be relevant here. We can attack for 6 because they can't block flying. They just can't be blocked except by flying. And if they have like a lifelink or something, we're probably just dead. But they have not had a stop on their main phase. They've been going straight to combat, which means they can attack here, but if they don't have a stop, but if they have something that was going to buff it, then they wasted that. So they're going to swing for 3. Another armor. Yeah, they definitely made that mistake, I believe. Aura Gnarlid is not bad because we can actually sleep that down. So it's better that they diversify and we can deal with one of them. Thought Scour. Let's just Thought Scour. Get another island. Sleep the Aura Gnarlid. And we might as well just play a Terror. Because if they gain lifelink, it's going to be very difficult to deal them enough damage. Because, I mean, a Armadillo Cloak would be +4, so they'd gain 11 up to 16. There's no way I'm going to be able to deal with that. Rumble, they could find it, but they don't. They do find another Ethereal Armor, which could just be another +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'd be 13. So if they have armor and then just any enchantment, that would probably be lethal. Unfortunately, Dispel doesn't take care of this. They choose the Nyxborn Hydra, because that can block. Okay, sure, so they're not dead. They're just going to play it. But they have to leave back the Ledgewalker. Oh, they are, because I can still just tap this down. Okay, so we'll be fine. We're going to take 9 here. But we got the Sleep of the Dead to deal with this. And we draw Deem Inferior, which we can actually only play 1 of them. We'd rather sleep this so they couldn't use it again, to be honest. But that should do it, because we can attack in with everything, or even just the aberrations, and they can't block them. All right, kind of a close one, as often happens with Bogles, but we now get 4 annuls, and Gut Shot is okay. I mean, it's just a spell that can go to our graveyard, and it can take out a spawn in case they try to suit that up, but Aura Gnarlid it's not going to get. I don't think Dispel is going to be relevant, but definitely Spell Pierce and annuls are good. Oh, Demon Furies target non-land permanent. I definitely need to remember that, because we can get rid of a enchantment if we need to. So I think we're keeping those. I could take out 1 Sleep of the Dead. It was good there. I guess if they're playing Nyxborn and Aura Gnarlid, it's probably going to be good, because if they have 4 of the Gnarlids in the deck, it seems solid. Maybe it's just 2 Ponders we get rid of then? Although, Ponder's card selection, Mental Note and Thought Scour just fill the grave, which actually feels like we might need to find like our counterspells and demon furiers more. So maybe we want Ponders over a couple Mental Notes. That doesn't feel right. Maybe we'll just split the difference though. No, I think it is, because we're not generally just going to win by slamming a bunch of these on the field, unless if they go all in on like a Slippery Bogle and it doesn't get that big and it doesn't have first strike. You know, this hand is quite bad. A spell that we're not probably going to be able to cast, and 5 lands essentially. This hand's okay. Since we're on 6, I think we're going to keep it. I still don't love it, but we have a counterspell, Demon Fury. We have some decent interaction. I got a Utopia Sprawl. Alright, we get a Serpent, Ledgewalker again, and a Spirit Link. Okay. Not the end of the world if I can just keep it small with our counterspells. We get another counterspell. We also mill a Thought Scour Island. Okay. We're keeping these for Armadillo Cloak, Ancestral Mask, or maybe even an Ethereal Armor. Something that's going to be big, and I don't even know. Seeing as we have 2, an Armadillo Mask, Armadillo Cloak I will counter. If we only had 1, I might actually let it go, because currently it's only a 3/3. Going for an Ancestral Mask, definitely going to counter that one. They can gain their 1 life. Delver's not bad, because we can play that and hold up Counterspell. Another Ancestral Mask is going to meet the same fate as the first. Attack for 1. Flip the Delver ideally. Not off an island, though. 4 spells in grave, and we don't have a Counterspell this turn. Well, I guess we're just slamming a Serpent. Can't do the Demon Inferior with it because it costs 3, and then this would still cost 2. Alright, well, we're going to get that down. If they do get an Ancestral Mask, we can at least take it away for a turn or 2 with the Demon Inferior. Start with an Abundant Growth, and then a Walker. That's not bad for us. Try to flip the Delver again blindly. A Null. We'll show it to him. That's actually a really good one for us. And nothing to use Sleep or really the Demon Inferior on, so we're going to just swing for 9. Hold up a Null. I could use Demon Inferior on Utopia Sprawl, which was a thought before, but now that this taps for white too, it doesn't really stop anything. They're going to Nyxborn Hydra for 2. They know we have the Annul. Yeah, so maybe I should save it, but it seems like a decent one to go for. I'll swing for 2, gain 1 back. Ponder's a good draw. Delver, or not even double Delver, and Islands. We will definitely shuffle. Still just draw an island. 9. I could Demon Inferior the Spirit Link, so if they have like an Ancestral Mask, they don't gain a bunch. Because if they have a mask that goes up to 7, they gain 7. It's not great. I honestly think I should, because then he either have like an Armadillo Cloak, which doesn't gain him a ton, or they have like an Ethereal Armor or an Ancestral Mask, and it doesn't gain them anything. I think we're going to do that, because the main way we lose here is they start gaining enough life that they can contend with our guys. They have a Forest, and there's the Ancestral Mask, so they can attack, but no lifelink. It's also smaller. Lorien Revealed. Well, I can't sleep this. They did put Spirit Link on top, so I attack, they're going to go to 2, chump here. Then they can attack back for 7. They go up to 9, but this is lethal, so they can't actually attack back, which means we can Lorien Revealed here, no problem. Which we don't have anything else to do anyway, so we were pretty much doing it. And a Delver's good. But it should be able to... This should be lethal regardless, because if they play it and they attack for 7, then they die to these guys, but if they leave it back, I can actually just fly over them with the Aberration, so... Should be able to get there either way. Pretty happy with that Demon Inferior play. And we don't flip this Delver. It's an island, so we'll just Thought Scour ourselves. Another Demon Inferior. Well, I could use that, but I might as well just hit them with this. They're hoping that we attack with the Serpent as well. And I will not oblige. Alright, taking down match 3. Alright, we're against someone who plays a lot of red. This hand's okay. We're again on the play, winning every dice roll. Coin flip. We can start with the Delver. Can't ensure it flips, but then we can Ponder, probably hit our land drop, play another Delver. Yeah, I mean, it seems alright. We also just have double Thought Scour, so if these just die, we can ideally fill our graveyard and get some terrors down. They do just Galvanic Blast, the Delver. There's a Serpent, Ponder. Okay, well, we have to shuffle and hope to hit a land now, and we don't. Well, that was unfortunate. Ponder sees 4 cards, and I was hoping one of them would be an island, but unfortunately none of them were. They attack for 2. There's our island. Well, I can play another Delver and leave up a Spell Pierce and a Thought Scour. We're going to Galvanic. I think I'll just counter that. Force him to use another spell. There's a Tomb Raider with no haste. I like that. They are swinging for 2. Can't ensure this flips, and it's an island, which we don't hate, but would not like to get there. Thought Scour mills 2 creatures. Oh my gosh. If that milled 2 spells, I could get down... No, we still would only be at 5. So we're only at 3? Oh my gosh. Thought Scour again. Island Cryptic Serpent. Okay, so these still cost 3? That's outrageous. Ugh. I mean, this is not very good, but they're not going to have much else to hit with this Demon Fury, so I'll get rid of the Tomb Raider. Maybe I should have just got rid of a token, but they bottom it, so it doesn't really matter. I guess I should just block with this Delver, because I can get down Terrors next turn, and those will be good enough to block and stuff. They have a Bushwhacker. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. We'll block, counterspell. Well, these still cost 2, so I can only play 1 if I want to counterspell, and I don't. I just want to get both of them down, I think, because they're going to be going wide and stuff. Emissary into a Bushwhacker would be pretty annoying. Tomb Raider's annoying too, but that's not terrible. Okay. We're not dead. Lorien revealed. I'm never going to be able to tap out for that, so I might as well just turn it into an island. I could attack, but then they have 8 damage on the crackback, so they only have to find 1. Oh, gosh. Is that worth... That's... No. I could do it, and then if they have only 1 spell that deals any damage, then I can counterspell it. But they could also just attack for 7, leave 1 of these back, and then I don't have a 2-turn clock, and then that seems bad, because they can kill me the following turn, so... Galvanic Blast for just 2 damage. I think we just take that. I'd much rather save this for like a Bushwhacker or something. They don't attack. We have another Serpent. Okay, I think that means we attack with 1 guy. We need to start pressuring. Play a 6/5. They just get a Furnace. We get a Brainstorm. Okay. I mean, we'll just hold up double Counterspell. And then if I attack, I can't attack all out because they just have lethal on board. But they only are going to have 2 spells. So if I attack with 2 of these, they attack, block. Still seems risky. Let's just swing with the Serpent. But we have another counterspell on top, so now we're just going to use them on just about anything they play that's relevant. Certainly a Rally. That lets them go pretty wide, which I don't want. I probably should have put the Ponder here, so that was a bit of a mistake. If I attack with 2, they're going to have to chump block. If I attack with 3, they have to double chump block. Actually, if I attack with everything, they have to block, and they can attack back for 6, but I have counterspell for both things that they could cast. If they have like a Lava Dart, it gets us, but this version doesn't usually play Lava Dart. Could also just attack for 2, they have to chump 1. I think we just attack all out, knowing that we can counterspell both their spells, and hoping that they don't have Lava Dart and another relevant spell. They double block, and they concede. All right. I guess they didn't have anything, because they didn't even try to cast a Bolt. So they must have just drawn lands, which is really unlucky, but obviously we had counterspells for 2 spells. All right, let's see if only having 6 blast effects is going to hurt us, because we're bringing all 6 of these in. Demon Furier's bad. Dispel is okay. Sleep does not seem good enough. And Spell Pierce is decent. I think we keep that. I think we want as many counters as we can have, maybe. And again, we have 10, 11, 12 here. I don't think I need to bring in 2 more Dispels. They're going to have Galvanics, Lightning Bolts, maybe a couple Fire Blasts, but probably not. Yeah, I think maybe we do cut a Spell Pierce. Oof, again we have the choice. Do we want to Brainstorm into trying to get a good hand? The problem is against this type of opponent, I can't really spend the first 2 turns sculpting my hand. Kind of need action. I'm going to mulligan this one. Well, obviously no land's going to not cut it. This one's okay. Guess we get rid of this and Ponder. Not great. At this point I would have preferred the 7 card hand. Start with a Percussionist. Island and pass. Just go straight to combat. Swing for 1. So no Tomb Raider, no Rally's nice. Epicure and no second land is pretty nice. Alright, so we're gonna Brainstorm. Blue Blasts are great, plus we get an island. I guess I put back Brainstorm Lorien? But I don't actually think I want to Thought Scour those, because I might want the Lorien to cycle. Brainstorm's fine. I think we're just going to pass like this. They do find a land. Cast nothing. Swing for 2. And just pass. We're going to Brainstorm again. Okay, that's too many islands. So now we'll put back these two, and we'll Thought Scour ourselves. Another counterspell. Delver's not bad. We'll play that. 4 spells engrave, and we're going to get some of these. So Galvanic Blast. I think we'll just counter that. And then a Tomb Raider. I think we're going to counter the Tomb Raider too, or rather just destroy it. Take 2 down to 13, and they pass. Alright, let's hope this flips. It does off a Lorien. I don't think we're racing here. I think we're just holding this back. Cycle the Lorien for an island. And we just have a couple counter spells. Feels like they probably have a bunch of burn spells, but what are you gonna do? Yep, Red Blast. Aberration, we'll counter that. They could have something better here. Burning Tree into, I mean, multiple Burning Trees maybe, into a Ren's Resolve, okay. And then a Voldaren Epicure. Not the worst, or a Tomb Raider. Not the best, certainly. We'll block the Epicure. Terror would be a good draw. Thought Scour, come on. Mental Note, guess we do that, but... And an island. Oof. Well, not going great. Epicure, I don't think we counter that. We counter the Bushwhacker they play after it. I guess I block the Percussionist. Feels like trading here, we go to 6 is bad too. So I guess we keep this around, but this gives them an extra card, and we're at 5. Lightning Bolt. We just draw an island, which means we block here. We can counter a Lightning Bolt. If they have anything else, we're pretty much dead. We will counter, and they kill that. All right. Just needed a Terror somewhere to block, and we would have been in an okay spot, I think. I guess Dispels actually are decent because of the Red Blasts that they bring in too. Maybe one of those over the Spell Pierce is better. I guess Spell Pierce gets Rally and stuff, but... Alright, let's not go to 5. This hand is good enough. If I play Delver right away, it just dies, but... I could save it. I could wait a turn and then I could save it, but then they could just have more blasts. I think we'll just do it. It feels like it's going to die if they want it to die pretty much regardless, but maybe not. They Lightning Bolt. Serpent's not bad. Let's just Ponder. Okay, counterspells galore. I don't hate it, seeing as we have Brainstorm, but we kind of want to land at some point. I think this is just too much of a good thing. Because it's going to be, we counter some stuff. I think it's too much. I think we're going to shuffle. Another Blue Blast is not bad. That might be crazy, but if we had a third land, I probably would have there. Kept them, but it just felt not good. Let's Brainstorm. Put back Brainstorm and Brainstorm, I guess, right? We just want this island. We Thought Scour those, then we can get this Serpent down. Although I probably don't want to put the Serpent down while we have this Blue Blast. Or rather, while we don't have Blue Blast up. And we have an island for next turn, so let's just Ponder, and next turn we'll get down Serpent. Hydro, Counterspell, Thought Scour. Now this feels fine. So let's... Plus we can Thought Scour them away if we really don't want. So, no. Yeah, now that we have 4 lands, I'm okay with more Counterspells. And step, they're just going to bin a mountain off their blood. I like that. We do have a Great Furnace and a Rally. I think we're countering that. Again, we got a lot of counter spells. They might just Pyro back. But no. They do have a Clockwork. Okay, but now we get to hold up Cryptic Serpent with 2 Hydros. That feels pretty good. They only have 3 cards, so it's going to be hard for them to kill it, I think. Synth. I think Synth is one we want to counter. Maybe they have 2 Red Blasts and they'll get the Serpent through this, but that just feels like a good one. That also feels like a good one, and we have another counterspell on top. So let's Thought Scour. Terror is a great draw. Now we're in a great spot. We swing. They probably chump. Yep, get their card. It's a Pyroblast, but we have a Terror. So even if they kill one, it's not the end of the world. Plus we got the counterspell. And they go for the Terror. I like that, because we can use up their entire turn and we have a counterspell. All right, and we're able to get there. Ooh, that was really nice. I think it was absolutely the correct play to not keep all those counterspells when we were on 2 lands. I think we would have had too much stuff to do and not enough mana to do them. But then the second Brainstorm, or rather Ponder, where we were able to see them and we had 4 lands, was phenomenal. So that one went really well. All right, finally lost a coin flip, but this hand looks pretty reasonable. So we're going to keep. Opponent mulls to 6. That's what they get for winning a coin flip. And is this Infect? Okay. Just based on the avatar, I was thinking maybe Infect. Looks like walls. Could be Spy Walls, because that's been popping up a lot recently. We're just going to get Delver down and hope that we can ride it to victory with all these counterspells. No Brainstorm, though, so we're going to have to flip All Natural. We do have a Battlement and an Elven Farsight, so I do think that means it's going to be Spy combo. See if they get a creature off the Farsight. 3 on top, and it's a Tinderwall. Okay. Delver does flip on a Lorien. I like that. So we got just a 7-turn clock. Bit slow, but we do have 3 counterspells. Then again, Dispel, I don't think it's going to be very useful. I'm trying to think if they have any instance. Spell Pierce could be against a Dread Return, and obviously Counterspell is good against anything. Tap for 4 for an Axebane Guardian. Ugh. Definitely a tough one to play against, because it's like, do I counter this, which is usually the scariest thing against an actual normal Walls opponent. And this could be regular Walls, but Farsight makes me think it's probably the combo version. But if it is normal Walls, we have Counterspell for Freed from the Real and stuff like that. We're going to Thought Scour. Island and a Delver. I don't really need another island, and I'm probably going to have mana to spare, so I'm going to leave this Lorien for now. Cryptic Serpent. Okay, that's a reason to cycle the Lorien, but to be honest, we're nowhere near getting that Serpent down. We only have 1 spell in the grave right now, so it's not a big deal. We didn't do it yet. Let's pass. Spell Pierce is pretty useless, even if they go for like a Lead the Stampede here or something. Another Guardian. I mean, at this point, they have enough mana that I don't think another is going to... it's going to be good, but it's not the thing to counter at this point, I don't think. I think it's got to be the payoff. I would love for them to... I mean, they're all walls. This is not going to happen. But if they just had, like, Nyxborn Hydra and just played that for 1 million, but as an aura, and then I could Spell Pierce it, oh, that'd be good. Drift of Phantasms. Okay, it actually looks like they are walls. They're just using the Elven Farsight tech. They find a Lead the Stampede. They don't cast it now. All right. Well, shifting to just walls mode, we might be okay. Thought Scour is decent. You have 2 spells. This is going to be at least 3, 4. I could get down a Serpent, but then we tap out. We're definitely not doing that. So we're swinging for our 3, and we're holding everything up. Problem is, countering the Lead the Stampede feels like a mistake. They just have anything else, like the Freed from the Real. But the last 2 cards would need to be Freed from the Real and a payoff. And they searched for the Lead the Stampede, so it feels like that's what they need. I don't know. We're going to counter it. They have another Drift. Oh, that could just be another Drift. Okay. So they're going to go for a Reaping the Graves. I do have a Dispel, which could throw off Reaping by 1. They haven't cast any spells this turn. Or no, they did cast the Lead the Stampede. I'm tripping. And I cast the Counterspell. So that's going to be 3. To get back 3 Drifts. Which means a Dispel on any of them is not actually going to matter. Because then they have 2. But they only have enough mana. Well, I guess they can sack this to get enough for the Freed from the Real. I don't think Dispelling anything does anything here. And if there's an off chance that we can Spell Pierce the Freed from the Real, then I'm going to just take that. Because they can cycle a Drift and then Freed. And then if I Spell Pierce it, they can sack this to make it so it's not countered. But then they can't actually untap this turn. There's the Freed, and they do sack the Tinderwall. And then they have... Oh, right, so they have infinite mana. But Spell Pierce is going to make it so that they can't go off this turn. And then if I can get, like, a Demon Furior, then that would work. To keep us alive. Potentially, for a bit. But I have 1 draw to get something here. And it's a Terror. And we know they have the Drifts. They make infinite mana. They drift for something, and we die. Unfortunate. I guess we bring in a Nulls for the Freed from the Real. And that's kind of it, right? Dispel did not feel helpful. Spell Pierce is decent, though. We just need to be faster. The 1 Delver start's not going to be fast enough. We needed a Terror on, like, turn 3 to at least do something. Plus, if I knew it was regular walls, I might have counted the first Axebane, which could have been different, so... I don't know, is 4 Annuls overkill? They only have 1 Freed from the Real, probably. It feels like it. Let's just bring in 2. Nope, this is not going to cut it. Cannot get those down fast enough. We have our 2 Annuls that I maybe want 1 of later. This hand's not going to cut it, and we're down to 5. This one's the best hand we've seen. One at 6. We have to get rid of... I think we got to get rid of Counterspell Mental Note, and we just go for the fast Terror. They got a Caretaker. We will Mental Note. We hit 1 spell. We've been hitting so many Serpents with these. Brainstorm and a Null. There's no way I can Thought Scour that we would have had to hit perfectly. So I guess we just leave up Brainstorm and Thought Scour. We can get a Terror down next turn. Quirion Ranger. There is a thought that maybe Gut Shots for the Rangers or Orochi Leafcallers would have been decent, but everything else has toughness that's too big, so I don't know if that would have been good. We're going to Brainstorm. Spell Pierce, Thought Scour. Well, we don't need to cast 2 Thought Scours, and a Null is going to be more helpful than Spell Pierce, so I think we just do that. Thought Scour those away. So that's enough to put down a Terror for 1. We draw another Terror. Okay. We could be in business here. We don't really have a spell to interact here unless they just go for a Freed from the Real really early. But they'll have to block these. Not this turn, but the following turn they'll have to block at least one. I think I'm going to save this Brainstorm to use during our turn in case we can find a Demon Inferior. They're going to Quirion Ranger for some extra mana. For a Battlement. That's not good. Spell Pierce. Oh, yeah, we had another one of those, I guess. Well, I guess we can flip a Delver off this Spell Pierce, but not really what we wanted. Kind of just have to ride these to victory. We do have the Annul if they can get the Freed from the Real this turn. Shield Wall Sentinel. Well, I'm gonna annul that. That does get hit by an Annul, and it's a tutor. So if they then have like a Lead the Stampede, yeah, it's pretty good for them. But I don't think that was a wrong play there. Double Mirror Shell Crab, but that's it. I mean, I'm okay with that. Oh, they can play one off a Tinderwall? Well, I'm less okay with that. Dang. Oh, they can also just untap because they haven't done that yet. That's pretty annoying, actually. I mean, Delver flies over it, but that's a 3-turn clock. No, a 4-turn clock, and we know we have Spell Pierce Island on top. Ugh. I was quite excited to see Mirror Shell Crabs for their draws until I realized they can just play them as a 5/7. Which is probably why they're in there. I could throw one of these away to eat a Tinderwall. Or, I mean, if they don't block, they die next turn, so that seems unlikely. Otherwise, these just sit back. Tinderwall makes at least 4 mana, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. And they start attacking with these. That's not going to be fast enough. I think we do. I think we just attack. We know that our next draw is an island, so that's not helpful. So I think we got to tax the resources as much as possible. Oh, I guess they have Quirion. They could untap anything and block instead of the Tinderwall, but it's probably the least useful of them. They do chump and lose. We lose a Terror. They got a Forest, another Ranger, and they got a Crab. We're going to swing with the Crab and the Ranger. So they can just untap it. That makes sense. Plus they just get another one. They don't even play the other one. They want to keep that. Okay. Well, I can't attack with the Terror because it just gets eaten by the Crab, unfortunately. But we can attack for 3. So we play an island in case we draw and want to play a Lorien. They just draw a Forest. I will say, this Aberration gets them in 2 turns. They're attacking with both Quirions and the Mirror Shell. We'll block here. If they'd played the other Mirror Shell last turn, then they might have been able to pressure us. But now if they play it, I can attack with this, I can chump the Terror, and I can attack in. So they gotta draw something now. They're still just holding it, though. There's the island we knew about. No, we already had an island. We already played an island. That's the island we didn't know about. Well, hey, if they don't draw anything, we got them. And they they drew a Drift of Phantasms, which they just play because it's a blocker. Oh my gosh. I guess if we get a Demon Inferior, we can still get them. But no. Well, the Mirror Shell Crab we have the mana to pay for. They attack with the Crab, we're just going to take it. Alright, Demon Inferior off the top. Even if I get a cantrip into the Demon Inferior, though, no, that would still work because it'll be reduced by it. Come on, Demon Inferior. Give me one time. Oh my god. So many islands. Okay, I guess we have one more turn because I can chump with the Terror. If they draw nothing again, they drew a Rubble Fort, which has reach. Oh my gosh. It also gives haste, so they can play another Crab. I have to chump with both. That could be risky for them, I guess, because I could be holding a counterspell. I'm not, but they don't even attack. That feels wrong. I guess I could double block, but yeah, I guess I double block and then I have a 5/5 attacker. But they could just kill the, I don't know. Sleep of the Dead. Sleep of the Dead would allow me to tap both of these. But no, because they can counter one of the sleep activations. Well, we got a Thought Scour. We're going to use it. We don't find a Sleep of the Dead. Here's a Ponder. A Null, which can counter a Mirror Shell Crab if they actually cast it, which seems unlikely. A Terror and Delver. I mean, we're also still just dead if they potentially get something. At some point, none of these fix our problem. Because I could get a second Delver, And then I still need something to get rid of the 2 defenders, the 2 flying reachers. I could get another terror. I guess one of our problems is if they start attacking with the crab. I'm going to need a terror for it. They didn't do that before. Ugh. I think... Oh, God. Even if I get a Sleep of the Dead or a Demon Inferior, it doesn't win us the game. So I might as well build my board and then hope to draw it, I guess. So I think I will keep these. Annul, then Delver, then Terror. So I can get the Terror down now. I'll play the island in case I need to use this Spell Pierce and don't want it to get Mirror Shell Crabbed. I mean, this is giving them so many turns, but if we get rid of those cards, find a Sleep of the Dead, I guess I could use it twice on their guys. They counter one of them, and then the following turn I could win. So maybe I should have just dug for that. I don't know. Looks like they're actually casting the crab finally, since I have my second terror, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, they can still attack with both of them, in which case we have to chump and trade. Here we get a Delver. I guess, actually, I maybe made a mistake. I don't know, this is so weird. My second Delver, they do have a blocker, but it's a blocker that dies. So actually flipping this Delver, attack with both, they have to chump. That also leaves me open to winning the next turn. They're not drawing anything, so if we keep getting lucky, maybe we actually have them. We know we're flipping this on an annul, which means they can't Freed from the Real combo us. That's it. We also just need to make sure 1, 2, yeah, they don't have... If they have any attacker off the top, they could kill us if we attack here, but I think we got to go for it. So we attack with both of our aberrations. They have to block here and block here, because nothing else has flying or reach. Yep. So they lose this, and then next turn I can deal them lethal. And then we're going to block the 2 crabs with the terrors. We take 1, 2, and if they get a hasty... Well, they have haste. Actually, they're having to lose their haste here. Actually, that's good. So even if they get a creature with power that doesn't have defender, they're not going to be able to attack with it. Okay. Well, there's still a million cards they could draw that's going to kill us, but I think we've done a decent job trying to get there. Nothing pre-combat. They're going to swing. Just seeing if we make a mistake, potentially. We're going to block the crabs. Go to 1. We're both at 1 life. And we got there. Oh my gosh. I mean, they drew poorly. We drew poorly. Maybe we could have done that a little better, because if we'd had the aberration, if we put that on top and played it a turn earlier, we could have done this a turn earlier, but then they could have potentially attacked us with the crabs first. I don't know exactly. But we ended up getting there. Let's see if we can get that last game. There's always the thought of bringing in... Oh, God. Gut shots, honestly, might be decent for the Quirion Rangers, which are so problematic. Sleep of the Dead is good. Spell Pierce is doing us no good, I don't think. Maybe there's a world where we Spell Pierce something, like they lead the Stampede on only 3 mana, but it seems unlikely, so I think maybe we just bring in 2 Gut Shots over those. I think 2 Annuls is already plenty. Let's give this a try. This hand looks okay. It's a potentially quick terror, plus we have a Sleep of the Dead that can just slow their mana down. I don't think we're throwing this back. Opponent on 6. They have a Scattershot Archer. That's fine. They need 2 of those for it to really matter against the Delver. I'm not going to care about tapping that, so let's just pass here. Swing for 1. Let's brainstorm. No 2-drop is very nice for us. We get a counterspell. So we have a lot of islands here, so let's just put back a Lorien and an island. I might just go for a counterspell if they cast a Axebane Guardian, so I don't actually know if I'm mental noting here, which means I'm drawing that island again. I don't really want to, but I guess 4 lands is fine. Yeah, we'll draw it. I don't want to let them get a terror. We're the terror player. I don't want them to get... I mean, their card's a terror too. I don't want them to get a Guardian. They're going to swing for 1 and play nothing. That's music to my ears. Mental note. We mill a Gut Shot in the Lorien and a Demon Inferior. Let's Thought Scour as well, because we can maybe just get down to terror and counterspell and another terror. Okay. So, change of plans. We're just playing 2 terrors. And we're going fast. And we're going to Sleep with the Dead. They're blockers. Maybe I should just do it on this now, but if I do it next turn, then it's gone for both of the turns we're attacking. Although we're going to be sleeping that for sure. Another Thought Scour. 2 islands. Counterspell's great. Island is fine. Yeah, we're just attacking with our terrors. We're going to sleep the Guardian, and we're going to hold up Counterspell. They'll take 10. Tap this guy down. And pass. Then if they play 1 creature, we can counter it. We can sleep the other one. Quirion Ranger. Kind of wish we had a Gut Shot. That is annoying enough because they can untap that I might just counter it. I think so. I don't really know what else they're going to play that's scary enough, and they probably don't have another ranger because they haven't been playing anything. Island, we have a counterspell, so I'm just going to sleep this guy and then try to attack for lethal. Yes! Nice trophy with Terror. I've not played this deck in 3 months since my last video, but it's just a good deck. I mean, there's a reason it's always one of the top 3 or 4 best decks. Every time I play this deck, I remember just how fun it is and also just how good it is. I probably need to play it a little bit more often, honestly, because I really enjoy this style of deck. Kind of tempo control. It's really, really fun. And I was really worried we were going to throw the trophy there, or not throw, but lose the trophy to Walls, especially in that second game when it really felt like we were going to lose. But we were able to claw it back, and then game 3, they did mulligan to 6, but then kept not a very good hand. I don't really think the Scattershot Archer probably should have been brought in from the sideboard anyway. Yes, if you have 2 of them, we can't do anything with Delvers, and maybe they just thought that they lost to Delver previously, so that's the biggest problem. But generally, their goal is to go faster than the Delvers, so I don't know. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But this deck is good. What can I say? Demon Furior, honestly, really, really good. Boomerang would not have probably been better in this league. Boomerang's usually good against Affinity, Jund, any of the decks that are like 2 or 3 colors and have a lot of tap lands, where you can bounce those lands, set them back a turn. We didn't see a lot of those, and Demon Fury was actually really good. Putting the card second from the top was really key against Bogles. Of course, Boomerang also just gets rid of it at instant speed, so it can kind of still get rid of it for that turn. But Demon Fury can get rid of something for 2 turns if they don't have a way to draw it. So I guess they can cast it the following turn, so maybe that's not exactly true. But in any case, this deck is sweet. I'm so glad we were able to play it again and get a trophy with it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons, including my $10 patrons, Howard Granger, Lars, JMW, Luca I, and Rafa Rodriguez. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.